Hello, good morning. Well, actually, good afternoon. Let me get my babies a goodie. And we're going to make some vanilla extract today. I've got my little jars come in. So I got them washed, sanitized, and got them ready to go. So we are going to make some vanilla extract. And I don't know about you, but the last time I went to the store and purchased vanilla extract, it was very expensive. So, I'm going to be making my own today, so come join me and let's make some vanilla extract today. And I'm going to be using a bourbon, and I'm going to be using some vanilla beans. And I got the grade A vanilla beans. There's a grade A and a grade B. Now, from my research, your grade A is a more moist vanilla bean, and your grade B is more of a dry vanilla bean. So we're going to be using a grade A. And I'm going to move you over here to my little workspace. And we'll go ahead and put some vanilla extract together this morning. So let me make myself a little bit of room. I'll move this around a little bit. See if I can't make myself a little bit of room. And I've got the little labels to label my little jars once we get the extract made. And I've got my little marker. So I'm going to set those here off to the side. And we are going to make some vanilla extract. So I wasn't sure exactly how much bourbon I was going to need. So my wonderful hubby went to the store last evening and picked up some, just some Jim Beam bourbon. And that's what I'm going to be using today to make the extract. And I'm going to be putting it in these little jars that come in. And that's what we'll be putting it in. And then we're going to go ahead and get our little labels ready and get it labeled. So, first thing we're going to need to do is to get the vanilla beans ready. Now, if you don't have the little jars, you can put them in any little container, a little glass jar, as long as you've got a secure lid. You can put your vanilla extract in it, or you can just take some of your alcohol out and you can just make your vanilla extract in a large batch in your alcohol. You just need to make sure that it is at least 35 to 45% alcohol in order to make your vanilla extract. So this is a 40% bourbon, and that's what I'm going to use today to make the vanilla extract. I also have vodka. Now, if you want more of a pure vanilla extract, you can use the vodka as well. So it depends on what you want to use. I'm going to use the bourbon because usually when you're baking and cooking, it's around the holidays, and I think the bourbon gives your vanilla extract a little more oomph, a little better flavor. So I'm going to be using a bourbon to make the vanilla extract today. And I'm going to be putting it in my little jars. So let me go ahead and I'm using, these are a grade A organic vanilla bean. Now, the grade A is more of a moist vanilla bean. Your grade B is more of a dry vanilla bean. But I'm going to be using the grade A organic. And these are the Madagascar vanilla beans, and there's 50 in this little package. So this is what we're going to be using. So let me go ahead and get my vanilla beans open. I got me a cutting board ready. And we're going to make some vanilla extract. And these are very moist. Oh, they smell delicious. I love to open a fresh pack of vanilla beans. So what I'm going to be doing, so I can help release the flavor of the vanilla bean, is I'm going to just be cutting the vanilla bean in half. Just not in half, just cutting into the vanilla bean. If I don't cut myself, we'll see how this goes. And the reason I'm doing this is this helps to release all of those vanilla beans inside. You can see all that goodness, I'm hoping, inside. So we want to release that into the jar. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to see how long my vanilla beans are, and I think that's going to be perfect. And then I'm just going to put them in. I think I can just shove them down a little bit, and I think they'll be just fine because I'm going to be filling that up. Otherwise, you can cut them in half if you want to cut them in half. And I'm going to be putting 6 vanilla beans in each one of my little jars. And again, I'm just cutting into the bean to release, so it can release all of that bean inside of the vanilla bean. All of that goodness. And I'm kind of opening it a little bit just so it can, I didn't get that one cut very well. Let me get a little bit deeper. And I just want to be able to release all of that goodness in there. That one's a tough one. And I'm just going to put 6 in each jar. And the kit that I got had 8 jars in the kit. And I'm just going through and I'm just kind of opening them up a little bit, so they can help release all those good beans in there. And you can see those beans there on my thumb. That's why I'm cutting into the middle. And I'm using a cutting board because they are going to be very moist, because these are the grade A vanilla bean. You see all that goodness inside of there. Okay, now I've lost count. 1, 2, 3, 4. I do that. I get talking and then I lose count. But when I went and bought my last little thing of vanilla extract at the store, it was 4 ounces and it ran me about $20. And I thought that was very high for vanilla bean, or for vanilla. So I'm going to start making my own and keeping it on in my pantry and keep it in stock, all ready to go. And just keep rotating it. Okay, that's 6. Now you can put 4 to 6. It depends on how many you want to put in your jar. And I've got plenty of vanilla beans, so I'm adding 6 to a jar. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6. All these smell so good. I wish you could smell these vanilla beans. They smell so good. my next jar ready. And if you want more of a pure vanilla or vanilla extract, you could use vodka. And that gives you more of a pure vanilla extract. So I'm just cutting into the bean, kind of opening it up a little bit so it'll release all of that goodness in my jar. And then I'm going to be using bourbon today. You just need to make sure that whatever alcohol that you're using is at least 35 to 45% alcohol. Hi, good morning. How are you this morning? We're making vanilla extract, and I'm just cutting into the bean, and I'm kind of opening it a little bit so it can release all of that goodness in there, and you can see that on my thumb. That's all the vanilla bean inside. And I'm putting 6 in these jars, and these are, I think, 8 or 8.5 ounce jars. So I probably could have put 4 in a jar, but I've got plenty of beans, so I'm going ahead and adding 6 to a jar of extract. Now this will take usually 12 months once I put it in the pantry. You can probably use it at 6 months. But I have some vanilla extract right now that I've purchased from the store, so I know I've got plenty of time to let this just sit in the pantry and just do its wonderful thing. And then I'll have plenty of vanilla extract. So if I can avoid going to purchase something else from the store, you are the best. Oh, well, thank you. How are you, dear? I'm doing good. How are you today? Hello, Elizabeth. Elizabeth, how are you today? We're just making some vanilla extract today. So, this will be one less thing that I need to go to the grocery store and depend on the grocery store. And if the shutdown and lockdown of 2020 taught us anything, it was we had to rely on a lot of what we had in our pantry. So the more I can put in my pantry and not rely on having to go to the grocery store and pick it up, the better it is for myself and my family. So I'm putting 6 vanilla beans in each jar. I'm just cutting them in half. So that's opening them up so all that goodness is going to get into my jar. And I'm using an organic grade A. Now your grade A vanilla bean is more moist. Your grade B is more dry. And this is an organic, and this is a Madagascar vanilla bean, and it has 50 in the pack. And I ordered these online, and I ordered my little jars that I'm using today. I ordered them online, so I'll put both of those down in my description below. And then the only other thing I'm going to be using is I'm going to be using a bourbon. And I sent my husband to the store yesterday, and he picked up some Jim Beam bourbon, and it is 40% alcohol, so I'm in the right percentage of alcohol. And I'm just cutting into those vanilla beans, and I'm just kind of opening them up a little bit, and you can see all them little beans on there. I'll always have your back no matter what happens. Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. And I'm putting 6 of these in this little jar. So I thought I'd just bring you along today while I'm doing this little project, and I'm making vanilla extract. I was so shocked I needed vanilla extract, and I went to Walmart and I picked up a little 4-inch bottle, and it was almost $20. And I thought that was horrible. So I went ahead and got online and ordered the bottles and got everything ready. That one didn't cut down in deep enough. And I thought, well, I'm going to be making vanilla extract, so I'll just do a live stream and bring you along in case you have never done this before. And these make wonderful gifts. If you want to give a gift away, they make absolutely wonderful gifts. Hello, if you're just coming in, welcome to my kitchen. We're making vanilla extract this morning. Well, it's not morning anymore. This afternoon. So I'm just taking my knife and cutting into the beans so it'll release all of that natural little beans inside there. And like I said, you can see that on my thumb. You can see all those nice little beans in there. It's going to help it to release all of those natural vanilla beans in my jar. I'm putting 6 in a jar. Boy, my allergies are really bad today. There's so much pollen. But you can just see all that goodness in there. So I'm just going through and I'm cutting them and helping it to release that into the jar. And if you don't have the little jars like I have, you can just use any container that you've got, a little jar with a lid that will be secure. And this was just something that I got at the store, and I think it was a salsa. And then I just clean and sanitize it. You could use any kind of jar like that. Or if you're making it in a large batch, you could always use the container of the alcohol, which I'm using bourbon today. And just add your beans right into your large bottle and then put it out into smaller containers, or just use it out of the large jar. But I did order the small jars, and once I have this all done, I'm going to be putting this in my pantry, and it'll take about 12 months to be at its best. Now, you could use it at 6 months if you wanted to, but it's just like anything that ages. The longer that it sets, the better that it's going to be. So you'll have 6 beans in each one of these little jars. And this vanilla smells so good. Now, you can do the same thing with doing like this with any extract that you want to make. If you want to make cinnamon, if you want to make a fruit like an orange or a lemon, you could do the same thing with that. You just need to make sure that your alcohol percentage is 35 to 45% on your alcohol. And you could use your vodka, or you could use, like I'm using today, a bourbon. And I probably could have put at least 4 beans in here and it would have been fine, but I've got plenty of beans and I don't want to let them dry out. So while I'm doing this, I'm just going to make a large batch and then set these in the pantry. And if I wanted to give one of these as a gift, or a few of these as a gift, they make wonderful gifts for the holiday. Hi, good morning. How is everybody this morning? Good morning. We're making vanilla extract today. And I'm just cutting into the bean and so it can release all those natural little beans inside. And I'm putting 6 in a jar. Some of these are pretty tough. They don't want to open real good, but we will get it. And these are very moist because these are the grade A. Now, if I was using the grade B, the grade B vanilla bean is more dry than what the grade A moist vanilla bean is. And you can see what I'm doing there. See all that wonderful bean that's inside of there? I'm just cutting into the bean and I'm kind of opening it up a little bit, so that'll help release that natural vanilla bean into the jar. And I ordered the vanilla beans online. I think these came from Texas. And they came in a pack of 50. And then I also ordered these little jars online. I'll put all of that in my description below after I do my live stream today. And I will have wonderful vanilla extract in my pantry anytime that I need it. Vanilla, I can just go in and get my vanilla extract out of my pantry. My hands are messy and a little slick. These are very moist. I'm putting 6 in a jar. You could probably put 4 in a jar and it would be just fine. And what's nice about having your own vanilla beans in your jar, if you're running low, you can always just add more beans and add more of your alcohol, your vodka or your bourbon, and make more vanilla and just put it back into your pantry. And usually it takes 12 months. You can probably use it around 6 months if you wanted to. It just wouldn't be as strong. But 12 months, it's ready. So it's kind of like anything else that ages with time. It just gets better and better and better. So if I was wanting these to give away as a Christmas gift for next year, I would make these at Christmas this year. Tam, what we making, honey? We are making vanilla extract today. So I wanted to give these as gifts. I would want to start these in December, and then they would be ready the following December. So if I'm looking at 12 months, I would want to have them done a year in advance. But I already have some vanilla extract that I purchased from the store. So I know I've got plenty of time now that I'm just going to make this. I had to order my bottles and order the beans. And this I can just set in my pantry in December next year, not this year. If I wanted to give these as gifts, they would be wonderful gifts. And you can see how it's starting to get all over my thumbs. Do you mix the alcohol with the vanilla? Yeah, we're going to do that as soon as I get all of my beans in my jar. Then we're going to add the alcohol to the jar. I'm just trying to get all of these in the jar. And I'm doing 6 per jar. And this makes the best. I think this is better than actually buying it from the store. I think it's amazing. And again, you're making it at home. You know it's all natural. There's no other preservatives or additives. It's just vanilla beans and your alcohol. And you have vanilla extract. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And again, if you don't have the little jars, you can just use any container, as long as you've got a lid. You can even make it in the alcohol bottle. Just look at, these are about 8 or 8.5 ounces. So you would just look at the ounces wise on your alcohol, and then just add as many beans as you think that you would like for the strength of your vanilla extract. And these are so moist and juicy. These are the grade A vanilla bean. Now your grade B is more dry. Your grade A is a very, very moist vanilla bean. You can see all that liquid, that almost like an oily. So your grade A, the alcohol extracts the vanilla right. So cool, yes. The vanilla beans are a little expensive, but like I was saying earlier, I went to the store and just picked up a very tiny, and this is 4 ounces of vanilla extract, and it was almost $20. So if I'm breaking that down, that's almost $5 an ounce, and that is expensive. So if I can do this, I know that I'll have it in my pantry. I've made it myself. I know it's all natural. And I think it's going to save me money in the long run. And I'll always have the vanilla extract in my pantry anytime that I need it. Everything is just so high. And I'm just trying to stay within my budget. And also have things that I know that is all natural. And if I don't have the availability to get to the store and I'm in the middle of baking, I'm going to have all that vanilla extract that I've made, and it'll be in my pantry just sitting there waiting for me. So anytime that I can save myself time and money, and I know that I've done it at home, I know these are organic vanilla beans, they're all natural, and I'm using alcohol, and there's no other preservatives or additives into it. And what I'm doing there is I'm just cutting into the bean, and I'm just kind of opening it a little bit just to let some of that natural beans come out into my vanilla extract. And that's what you're seeing on my thumbs. Actually, they were white this morning. But that's how juicy these grade A are. Very, very moist. Now, if you get the grade B, they're going to be more dry. Your grade B vanilla bean is more of a drier vanilla bean. So if you're making the extract, you're probably going to want the grade A vanilla bean. Got 2 more bottles here, and then we will get the alcohol added. And you can keep these for probably about a year, as long as you reseal them. Put them in a bag that's airtight, or in a jar that's airtight, because they will dry out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 more jars, and then we will get the alcohol in, and I'll show you that in just a minute. I could have went ahead and done all of this ahead of time, but I just wanted to bring you along so you got to see about how long it takes. And this is just helping me to build up my pantry. So if something would happen that I couldn't get to the store, I know that I have my own vanilla extract. I've taken the time to make it. And I'm just going to set it in there on the shelf. And it's always there ready for me when I'm ready. And I like that. I like to be prepared, or as prepared as I can be. If anything, our shutdown, lockdowns in 2020 did teach us that you had to rely a lot on your pantry. So what you had in your pantry really come in handy. So that kind of put me in the cycle of trying to get more and more done for my pantry that I can, preserving and dehydrating, and doing little things like making my own vanilla extract. And I do have the 2 Maltese, so I'm going to give you a warning. It's not trailer park. We haven't got moved to the new property yet. So if they hear the neighbors, they may bark. So trigger warning. I do have the 2 Maltese, and they do like to bark. Okay, one more jar, and we can get the alcohol. And I'm putting 6 beans per jar. I made sure that I ran my jars through the dishwasher. These just come in new. Thank you for all you do clean, Tam Tam. I'll be listening while working. Okay, alright, thank you. You all are always so kind. I really appreciate that. I have an amazing, amazing group of people that come in. And then I'm going to have a couple extra ones. So what I'm going to do with those is I'm just going to drop them down in the bottles. I'm not going to waste them. I tried to get it close to the same amount in each jar. And I knew I could put at least 6 in there. I had 150 beans. And I ordered 8 jars. So we're getting ready to do our last. Oops, I didn't get that one cut. I didn't go deep enough on my cut. Go a little deeper. There we go. My hands are getting a little greasy from the beans. They're very juicy, very moist. And these make such amazing gifts. If you like giving gifts, these make absolutely amazing gifts. Or if you're doing like me and just for right now stocking your pantry, you making extract. Yes, Nancy, I'm making extract. How much money did 150 beans cost? Where do you recommend purchasing? They were not that expensive. These are the Madagascar vanilla beans. They're grade A organic, and there was 50. I will go ahead and put all of that information in my description below, where I got it from and everything. So if you want to look this particular one up, you can look it up. I'll put that in my description below today. And I'm just going to cut this one in half. Nope, I don't want to go in half. We're just going to put a couple extra ones in a couple bottles. That'll work just fine. It almost came out even. Now, if I would have had like another small bottle, I would have went ahead and just added a few of those beans into a smaller bottle. So I'm just going to add these couple extra into some random bottles over here. My hands are so slick, I don't want to slip and cut myself. So I'm just going to pick a bottle and there we go. So let me move this out of my way and see if I can't wipe my hands just a little bit here. Get some of that off my hands. Now you can see how moist those vanilla beans are, and that's the grade A. And this is the beans, if you get the, say, a vanilla bean ice cream, that's the little speckles that you're seeing in the ice cream, and that is the beans that we're using, and that is the grade A organic Madagascar vanilla beans, 50 count. Okay, let me wash my hands. And yes, I had very clean hands when I started this morning. Those vanilla beans do stain a little bit, so if you want to, you can wear gloves. I just like to be able to use my hands so I can feel everything. Okay. Now, I'm just going to be using, you can use a bourbon, or you can use a vodka. Use scissors to cut in. Yes, you could use scissors. That would be a very good idea. I'm just using bourbon. You could use a vodka. So it's your choice. Just, you want to make sure you're between 35 and 45%. Up to 75%, I think it is. I'll double check and I'll put that in my description. So I'm within that percentage of alcohol. So you don't want anything less than 35%, and you don't want anything higher than what is actually required to make the vanilla extract, or it will almost cook the vanilla extract, and you don't want that. Okay, so if I can get it open, my hands just don't work anymore. Okay, so let me get, I just got this little kit. It's a nice little kit. And it did come with the 8 bottles. And it came with 2 little collapsible funnels. And it came with the labels and the marker. And 8 little bottles. And they have the glass top, and it has the seal, and it came with 8 replaceable seals. I'm sorry, the pollen is so bad here today. Everything is covered in pollen. Okay, now all I'm going to do is I've got 6 vanilla beans in each jar. And you can see I've washed my jars. Some of them were still just a little wet. I ran them through the dishwasher. Now I'm just going to put my bourbon in my jar. Ooh, that's strong. My wonderful husband went to the store and picked up the bourbon for me yesterday. And I could not believe the price of bourbon. So I just have the 6 beans, and I'm adding bourbon. And we're making vanilla extract. And we know it's all natural. The vanilla beans are organic, all natural. And I'm just adding the alcohol, and it's 40% bourbon. And if you don't, like I said, if you don't have the little jars like this, as long as you have a jar that you can close a tight lid on, you can use that jar, or you could use the actual bottle that the bourbon comes in. Jim Beam Vanilla. Yes, Jim Beam Vanilla. I'll have ice with my bourbon. Okay. This is a love potion. I don't need it. For you all. Half-gallon Jim Beam, 7 years, was $50 last week. My husband picked up, and these are not, I don't even think these are a fifth. And he picked up 3. They look small. They may be a fifth. I don't know. 80 some dollars for 3 of these. I was shocked. I don't want any more in that one. That one's full. I was shocked. I had no idea that it was that expensive. Now the vanilla, if you want just like more of a pure vanilla, you could use the vodka. Now the vodka will give you more of a pure vanilla. But I wanted the bourbon because usually when you're using the most of your vanilla, it is around the holidays. And I just think that the bourbon vanilla gives it such an extra little oomph. I'm glad I waited till the afternoon to do this. That bourbon is strong. Woo. The vanilla beans smell so good though. Oh my goodness, they smell good. And this way you know that you've made it yourself at home. It's all natural. Those are organic vanilla beans and alcohol. There's no extra added anything to it. It's all natural. Let me go ahead and close these just so I don't have a boo-boo. I really don't want to have bourbon all over my kitchen and all over me. And I could just see me having a boo-boo. And I just purchased this little kit, and I'll also put that down in my description below where I ordered that from. Vanilla bourbon and eggnog. Hell yes. Yes, me making this, it just, all the things that you would think of for the holidays, you know, and with cooking and baking and family gatherings, and yes, even a bourbon eggnog. And this is a nice little kit. It came with 8 of the bottles with the glass top stoppers on them that seal. And it came with the rubber seals. It came with 8 extra seals. Replacement seals. Okay. So far, so good. I didn't spill the bourbon, so let me get the lid on that before I speak too soon. So once you get your 6 vanilla beans, I sliced into them to release some of that bean, the natural bean. I bet vanilla bourbon is good in French toast too. Oh yes, you can use this for so many things. Now you could just use the vodka if you wanted just like a pure vanilla. But I like the bourbon because it just gives it that extra little oomph. So I've got the 6 beans, and I did go down and cut the middle and opened them up to really help release some of those beans. So I know these have a nice seal top on them. So I'm just going to shake each one a little bit. And when I set these in the pantry, I want to set them where I can get to them. And every now and then when I'm in the pantry, I'm just going to pick it up and shake it. And I'm just going to leave that set in my pantry. And I know in 12 months, I'm going to have the most perfect vanilla extract. But I know that it's all natural. And I'll just set those in there. And when I'm in the pantry doing things, I want to set these where I can see them. That way, it doesn't hurt to go in and just kind of shake it a little bit. Yummy. Shake for 8 weeks, okay. Now these, you let set for 12 months. If you want your best vanilla extract, you could probably go in, if you're running low on vanilla, in 6 months, and you could probably use it. It just probably wouldn't be as strong as you would really want it to be. So I'll just set these now in my pantry, and I know in 12 months I'm going to have 8.5 ounce bottles of vanilla. Now, what's nice about doing it yourself is if you start to run low, I usually only do 2 to 3. Well, I did extra in case I wanted to give it away. I wonder how moonshine would work. I really don't know. It would probably depend on your alcohol percentage, because you want to be within the right percentage. You don't want it to be over that percentage. You don't want to cook your vanilla beans. You want them to naturally absorb into the alcohol. You don't want that alcohol to be too high in your percentage of alcohol that it's going to almost cook your vanilla beans. Now, if you want it to last longer, they do have a dark colored, an amber bottle, which will help your vanilla beans and your vanilla to last longer. I just seen this little kit, and it was pretty reasonable. And when I got it in the other day, I did put this in my description below, but I'll look it up again, and I'll add the little kit. It came with the 8 glass top bottles. What's that, Jim Beam? 90 proof, 80 proof. This is an 80 proof. It's 40% alcohol, 80 proof. So I was looking, your lowest is 35%. And so I knew that the 40% would be in my range. So this is a 40% 80 proof. And this is the bourbon. And I went to the store, like I was saying earlier, and I was running low on vanilla. And this is only a 4-ounce container. It was right at $20. So if I'm looking that up, that's almost $5 an ounce. Grandma's drunk? No, not at all. Grandma's making vanilla extract. So that's a 4.5 ounce. And if you break it down, I think it was close to 4 something an ounce, almost $5 an ounce. And these bottles are 8.5 ounces. So if this was 4 ounces at 20. That bottle is about $40. So that's why I'm making my own vanilla extract. And I will put this one down, link it down, so you can compare the price, or you can look it up. And I just got that at Walmart. And then this is an original gourmet baking vanilla, which is a pure vanilla extract. And it says with all natural flavors. But when you're reading on the back, on your ingredients, it's got water, sugar, vanilla extract, alcohol, and it just keeps going and keeps going and keeps going. This is vanilla bean, alcohol. That's it. It doesn't have that whole row of ingredients. This is all natural, and you've made it at home yourself. Yes, try to be respectful. Basically, I'm a learning and teaching channel. I'm passing on things to others that will help them to go into their kitchen, make vanilla extract. Like yesterday, I was baking my first loaf of the sourdough bread in the new Dutch oven that hubby got me, and it turned out amazing. Just look at that loaf of bread. That is one very nice loaf of sourdough bread. And there's another loaf of sourdough bread. And I wanted a soft crust, almost like a sandwich bread, but I wanted the sourdough, so we did that. Yes, you don't need to do any preserving because the alcohol is doing the preserving. And what's nice about making your own is if you're running low, you can always just add a few more beans and add some more alcohol, set it back in your pantry, and you can just keep rotating your stock of vanilla. And they make wonderful gifts, wonderful gifts. Very nice bread. Oh, well, thank you. That was a recipe. I was watching Jamarelle Stewart. I like to watch Jamarelle. And she was making, I think it was about 150 different things that day. And she was making a sourdough bread loaf that was a soft bread loaf. And I love the sourdough bread, but I thought, wow, that would be really nice to have one with a softer crust. So I did the one in the Banneton basket, and I did that on my live stream that day. How nice that turned out, and what a nice soft crust. This one I did yesterday. My husband got me a new Dutch oven, and I wanted to try it out. So this is on my live stream yesterday. You'll see the picture of it. It is so soft. Just look how soft. Now, if I didn't want it as soft, this one had a nice little crunch to it. You could hear that crunch. If I had left this more into like the paper bag, it would have maintained that nice crunch, but still been, sort of soft. But I put it into this Ziploc freezer baggie after it cooled, and it is just amazing, amazingly soft. Just look at that. So this is more like a sandwich bread, and it's a sourdough made with the starter that I made online. I was doing a live stream, and mine is, of course, probably looks a little darker, but you can see all those bubbles in there. And the reason mine looks darker is because I do mill my own flour. I've got the hard white wheat berries, and I milled them with my Nutrimil stone meal. Made my own flour, and I did that on the live stream that day. And the live stream was making sourdough starter. And then I milled my own flour, and that's what I'm feeding my starter. So my starter may look a little darker, but if you do not have access to the wheat berries like I do, and I use the hard white, because if you're making bread, you're wanting the hard white wheat berry. But if you don't have access to the wheat berries to grind your own flour, you can by all means use just all-purpose flour, as long as it's unbleached. I don't have a drinking problem, I have a vanilla extract problem. Exactly, yes. Now for your breads, for your, like, your sourdough bread, your sandwich bread, you're going to want the hard white wheat berries if you're milling your own wheat berries. But for your quick breads, say if you're making banana bread or zucchini bread, you would want to mill a soft white. And your soft white wheat berries is also for your desserts. If you're making cakes or cinnamon, Now the cinnamon rolls, I usually use the hard white wheat berry for my dough. But if I'm making, like cakes or a quick bread, I'll use the soft white wheat berries and grind them. And then when I'm making like my homemade noodles, like my fettuccine noodles, I'll use a hard white or a soft white, whatever I have milled, and or if I just am in a hurry and I have some all-purpose flour, I'll just make them with the all-purpose flour. And I made these on one of my live streams. I think it was making pasta with the Pasta and Beyond pasta maker. And I absolutely love it because I have problems with my hands because of a major prior surgery that I had. And I never actually completely got full ability or use of my arms and hands. So I do struggle sometimes. So the Pasta and Beyond is amazing. You just put everything in and it just brings your pasta noodles out. And you just cut them off, lay them at whatever length you want, and put them out on trays to dry. And then when they're dry, I just put them in a jar and I make sure that I have oxygen absorbers in it. And then I have these for my pantry stock up. And so whatever wheat berries I have, flour for, or all-purpose flour, I'll just use those for my pasta. But if you're making your own starter, if you do not have access to the wheat berries, you do not have to have the wheat berries and the mill to mill your own flour. You can use all-purpose flour and start your own starter, as long as it's an unbleached all-purpose flour. You don't want anything with bleach in it. And anytime that you're making your starter, you either want bottled water or filtered water. You don't want any chlorine, and because this is a natural yeast and it's doing a natural fermenting, and the chlorine will affect it. And if you have all-purpose flour with bleach, you're not going to have a good starter at all. So all-purpose unbleached flour, either bottled or filtered water. And I started this on a live stream, and it was making a starter from scratch. And I did day 1, and we started it with 1/4 cup of flour and 1/4 cup of bottled water. And I used my milled flour, the hard white wheat berry flour, and 1 cup of bottled water. And then on day 2, I showed you what to do, and I did it clear up through day 5. And then on day 5, when I seen that it was really active, it was doubling, it was doing everything it should. Then on day 5, I explained that I just put it in the refrigerator then, because when you put it in the refrigerator, it just goes dormant. Now, if I'm not using it, I'll go in maybe once a week or once every 2 weeks, and I'll take out my discard and I'll feed it. I'll let it warm up, before I feed it. And then I'll take out my discard and feed it and let it rise. And then when it starts to fall back down, I'll just put it back in the refrigerator and let it go dormant. So that's what I use for my sourdough bread. And then I keep my discard. I don't throw that away. So whatever I'm discarding to take out of there, because you need to feed your starter to keep it alive and active. So when I do feed the starter, I put my discard in another jar. Now once this jar gets full, I have the little butter molds. Let me see if I can pull them out here without making too much of a mess. I just bought some butter molds, and I got these online. They were not expensive. And when my discard jar gets full, I'll just put that into these little butter molds. And then I'll freeze it. And then once it freezes, I'll just take it out of the butter molds and put it in a Ziploc baggie. And I know each one of these molds is 1/2 a cup, just like a stick of butter, because this is equal to a stick of butter. So mine has the little lines inside. So each one of those lines would be 1 tablespoon. So I know each one of these is equal to 1/2 a cup, just like a stick of butter. And I'll freeze them and put them in a Ziploc baggie after I take them out of here. And if I'm making pancakes or anything that I want to use my discard for, I'll just go get out a stick of my discard that I froze, let it warm up and thaw, and I'll make my sourdough pancakes with the discard or whatever I'm going to be making that day. So that way I'm not wasting what discard I'm taking out. And I do have it in the refrigerator, but I also make sure that I label my Ziploc baggie that it is a sourdough discard, and that way I know that it's not, because I make homemade butter. And a lot of times I'll add like a garlic, or I'll flavor my butter and I'll put it in my butter mold, and I don't want to accidentally think that I'm pulling out butter when it's sourdough discard. So I make sure that I label my freezer bag, and I know that each one of these is equal to 1/2 a cup. And normally if you're making something with a discard, you normally need about 1/2 a cup. So that way I'm constantly rotating, and I have my natural yeast. I don't have to worry about needing yeast. And if we would go in another lockdown, you can't just go to the store and get yeast. I know that I've got my sourdough starter. It's a natural yeast, and anything that I would be using yeast for, I've got it right here. So these are things that I feel are very knowledgeable to know and to have, and I like to do them on a regular basis. If I use it now and I learn how to use it, if there would be some type of emergency and I don't have power, I can go in and I can pull out some of my discard. I have a gas availability to bake and cook and stuff on gas, so I can still maintain during an outage or storm or whatever it may be. So whatever I do have, I want to familiarize myself with it, so I'm using it, because it doesn't really do any good to have it and not be using it on a regular basis. And then like this, I wanted to get a soft crust, and this is so amazing. And again, I gave the credit on that video to Jamarel, and I did make this, put this in the round Benetton basket. But just look at that bread, and it is just so soft, and it makes an absolutely amazing sandwich bread. and I don't have that real hard crust, and I have dentures, so I love my sourdough bread, and I like that crunch. But every now and then, I wanted something like a sandwich bread. So when I see Mel, and she was doing that video, I did write everything down, and then I did, on one of my just previous videos, I did make that, this sourdough loaf, and what I did was I cut it in half, and I froze half, because it's just my husband and myself. So, can you freeze this loaf that I made? You absolutely can. I froze it, then I just let it sit out on my counter, and I let it thaw, and that way I'm not wasting, because just my husband and myself, you can see how large this loaf is that I made yesterday. That's a lot of bread for 2 people. So I went ahead and put this in this freezer bag, and then I did cut this one. Now this one has a different grain inside. It still has a lot of the nice bubbles. It's not doughy, but just look at that. It doesn't have the hard crust. Now, whenever I first took it out yesterday, I actually took it up to the phone and I pushed on it and hear that crunch. So if you want that crunch, it also has it. But just look at that wonderful grain. It is such a soft dough, and oh, you get all of the benefits of the sourdough bread. And then, like I said, I'll just take that and I'll put half of this in the freezer, and I'll probably do both of these halves for now because I already have this half still out. But I made this in the new, my husband surprised me with a new Dutch oven, cast iron enamel. And look at the difference in the race. This was done in the round Banneton basket, and this one I made in the oblong Banneton basket yesterday. So it gives me both of I can use both of my baskets that came in the small kit that I've also shown. And I'll just divide this now into 2 freezer bags, and I know that's plenty for myself and my husband. And they'll be in the freezer, and I'll have it made ahead. Because that's one big loaf of bread. Hi, good morning, how are you? Or good afternoon. I'm so used to being here in the morning. I'm sorry. I got twisted around, and I knew I was going to be working with bourbon today, making vanilla extract, so I held off till the afternoon, and I'm still wanting to say good morning. But that is one large loaf of bread, so it does freeze very nice. And I did just put it in a Ziploc freezer baggie, and I just froze it. And then yesterday morning, or the night before, if I know I'm going to want some bread out, I just went in and laid that out and let it thaw, and it is just so fresh. It's just like I just made it. I am starting to make my sourdough starter. Do you have any tips on how to do it successful? Love from the Philippines. I was just talking about my starter. If you go back and look on my live streams, this is my starter that I made. And you can see all those bubbles, and this has been in the refrigerator. I made that loaf of bread with it day before yesterday. Or maybe yesterday. It might have been I think it was yesterday I made that loaf of bread. I know that my dogs had up all night the night before, and I was extremely tired. I think that was yesterday. But I did a live stream, and I took you step by step how I made my starter. And mine was made with my own ground white wheat berries into the flour, but you don't have to have your own berries. You don't have to mill your own flour. as long as you're using an all-purpose flour that is unbleached, and as long as when you're using your water, it's bottled water or filtered water. You don't want anything that has chlorine in it, and you don't want any flour that has bleach. And I started off with 1/4 cup of my flour and 1/4 cup of bottled water. And if you go back to those live streams, I started the starter on day 1, and then each day on my live stream, I had done a lot of different fermentings that whole week. I made some sauerkraut in a crock, and then I fermented some cucumbers, and then I fermented some I can't remember, some different things, but I spent the week doing fermenting, and every day was day 1 on starting the sourdough starter from scratch. Then day 2 was what do you do on day 2, then what do you do on day 3, and I went clear through to day 5, and by day 5 my starter was ready to put in the refrigerator. It was nice and bubbly. And whenever I was feeding it, it was doubling its size and then coming back down. So I took you clear through day 5. So if you want to go back and watch those live streams, you'll see I had over on my counter, I had my Nutri-Green stone grinder, and then I had a jar of my wheat berries, and then I think I also had my starter, and it was covered with a cloth. And that's the picture that I had on my live stream. And that would have been day 1, and then I did day 2, 3, 4, and 5, and explained how you take care of your new starter each day. Then once you get past up to day 5, you put it in the refrigerator. And then once you put it in the refrigerator, because it's a new starter, you want to probably go in at least once or twice a week and take out your discard. And if you take out 1/4 of a cup, you want to make sure however much you take out, you want to put that same amount in. So if I remove 1/4 of a cup of my starter as discard, I want to put 1/4 of a cup of water back in and 1/4 of a cup of my flour, unbleached flour, back into my starter. I'll stir it up, I'll let it rise, and then when it comes back down, then I'll put it back in the refrigerator. And as long as I'm not using this, I'll just go in, maybe feed it every week or every 2 weeks. I've left it in the refrigerator almost going on 3 weeks, and this is a new starter. So I'm really trying to be careful with it. I want to make sure at least once a week or once every 2 weeks I am going in and I am feeding it. But I'm actively using my starter, and that is a new starter. And just look at this beautiful loaf of sourdough bread. And I think I started this, it seems like about maybe 2 months ago. So this is a very new starter. Thank you so much. Oh, you're welcome. But just look at that beautiful big loaf of sourdough bread, and this is a new starter. I call it my baby because it's young, and I'm maintaining my baby and taking care of it. So then today we did homemade vanilla extract, and I just used vanilla beans. I wanted to make sure that I had an organic grade A vanilla bean. So I put 6 vanilla beans. I cut them down the center. I wanted to get them where I could open them to release some of the natural bean inside. I put them in the jar. There's 6 in a jar. This is an 8.5, I think 8.5 ounce jars. These are new. I'll put this kit that I just got in, I'll put these on in my description below. And then these are just some grade A. Now, the grade A is a moist vanilla bean. So your grade B vanilla bean is a more dry. So if you're going to be making your vanilla extract, you want to get a grade A. They're very moist. And this is organic Madagascar vanilla beans, and it was a 50 count. So I'll put that in my description down below as well as to the kit. And then this is going to go into my pantry. And in 12 months, I will have 8 jars of vanilla extract that we put together this morning, or this afternoon, sorry, on the live stream. And at first, whenever I want them in the pantry where I can see them. So if I'm in the pantry getting something, I'm just going to kind of take them out and just shake them a little bit, because they're just getting started, and that just kind of get everything moving through the process. But if I leave them in my pantry for 12 months, I'm going to have vanilla extract. Now, they'll probably be ready in 6 months if I'm in a hurry, you know, and I'm running out of my store-bought, which is what I'm trying to get away from, depending on the store, for vanilla extract, because the prices are so high. But after 12 months, I know this is perfect vanilla extract, and I can keep some vanilla bean on hand. And if I'm running low, and I know that I'm going to be running low, I can just add a couple more beans into my jar, add some fresh alcohol into my jar, and just keep rotating and keeping my vanilla extract rotating. And they make absolutely wonderful gifts if you want to give them as a gift for the holidays. And I'll put that kit in my description below. That kit came with these 8 bottles with the glass tops, and they have the seal, the rubber seal, and they lock down. And that kit came with 8 replacement seals for the jars. It came with 2 collapsible funnels, one red and one blue. And it came with 2 pour spouts. And then the 8 bottles. And I'll put that in my description below. That kit, I just ordered it. I think I ordered it through Walmart. And I'll put that in my description below. And I'll put the vanilla beans that I purchased, I'll put that in my description below as well. So, got all of that done. And then I think I always like to show when I get new things in. And I did get one new thing in. And it actually came yesterday while I was on a live stream, and I wasn't sure what it was. So go ahead, I'll show you what this is. I haven't got them open and cleaned yet. I was looking for some glass storage containers, and I wanted something that had a nice lockdown lid. So, from what I'm seeing, they're going to be really nice. And each one of these has got 2 in it. They are the glass. Excuse me, there's so much pollen that I'm just almost smothering today. And these are a nice plastic lid that locks down. So I haven't got these washed up yet, but I think I'm really going to like those. So I've got that one. See if I can make me a little more room. And then this one, this size. So there was 2 in that one. Here's another one. And I really like the lockdown lids for storage. So, and then it comes with round ones as well. I'm not sure on the sizes of them, but it looks like they're all different sizes. So I'm just going to kind of lay them out there. Here's a couple more. They're glass with the plastic lockdown lids. And I'll put this kit on this set on my description below as well. And I think I actually got these through TEMU, but they're actually glass. They're not plastic. And I wanted something that was glass. So they are glass with a nice lockdown lid. All with thank you. Yeah, I definitely have some here. And then one more row. It came in 3 rows. They're nicely packed. And this one is some more round ones. And this has a larger one. And then there's a smaller one inside. At least one, yeah, one smaller one inside. So it's a nice little kit. And I thought those would be really nice to have for the camper. Because I don't have a whole lot of space in the camper. So that one had 2, and then here's another single. And again, they are glass. They're not plastic. And they have the glass lid. So, I don't remember how many was in the kit. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, I got another row. One more row. And this one has 2 in it, a larger and a smaller. And if you've been watching me, we're getting ready to move our mobile home. So we have to empty the mobile home, and we're going to be setting up our camper on the new property. And I'm going to be staying in the camper. And I'm going to be in there for probably a month or so. So I'm trying to get prepared and have some extra little things like this ready for me in the camper, because I'm not going to have my regular kitchen. And there's one more. So there is, let me count, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It's a set of 12. And they are glass with a plastic lockdown lid. Those will be my favorite. No spill in the fridge. Yeah, and I'm going to be in the camper, and you don't have a whole lot of space in the camper, in your camper refrigerator. So I wanted something that was I was going to be able to lock down and was stackable for my limited space. And then, of course, once we get all of our power in and get our building in, we have another refrigerator and freezer that I'll be putting into my hubby's calling it my she shed. He's getting me a she shed. So I wanted to get something that would be nice for the camper while we're at the camper. And I'm going to wash all of these up and then I'm just going to put them back in the box so they don't get broken. I can just take these up in my personal vehicle to the camper. Actually, my husband just took the camper in today to the camper dealership, and they're replacing all of the awnings. We have 2 slot outs that have awnings over them, and then our main awning, so he's going ahead and having all the awnings replaced. But they are nice glass containers with plastic lids. So I'm going to run all of these through my dishwasher and get these all cleaned up. And when he gets the camper back, gets it set up on the property, I'm going to go ahead and have these ready to take up to the camper. So I want to make sure I keep all of my wrappers, get everything wrapped tight, and that way I won't break them taking them up to the camper. And that will just get me that much closer to having things prepared in the camper. Wow, that is really a nice little kit. So there's 12 of them. I'll put down in my description below, but it did give me a nice variety. There was round ones, oblong ones, and I wanted something that I could stack in the refrigerator. And those are going to be very nice. Let's see, this one should be round and round. But I do like the way that they came packed. They came packed very nice. Okay, this one should be round. And I like that because I can just put it all into my camper and I am ready to go. Really nice packaging. Nothing broken, so you actually got to see it with me. And they're not real big, but for a family of 2, like my husband and myself, you have beautiful long hair. Oh, well, thank you. Wow, that is a nice kit. Yeah, I think so. And they're going to be really nice for the limited space I'm going to have in the camper. And I can stack them in that little camper refrigerator. Plus, we have a small refrigerator, another refrigerator, because I have 2 bedrooms in my camper. And on my front bedroom has the bunks, and it's only my husband and myself. So my bunks in my bedroom, I use them for storage. So I have my bread maker up there, I have my dehydrator up there, you know, all of my kitchen things, I use the bunks for that. And then I have another small refrigerator that I keep in the camper. And it's a pretty good size little refrigerator and has a small freezer as well. And it's about the size of your camper refrigerator. So that gives me the 2 that I can rotate until we can get everything set up there. Because it's all empty land. We are doing everything from the ground up. So it'll be the camper first. And we'll have the excavating's getting ready to be done this month. The trees have already come down that need to come down, so there's a lot of logs that need to be cut up, a lot of tree tops. The excavator is going to be putting in the driveway, removing all the big tree stumps. And then he's also going to be putting in the septic system, and we're going to be putting the camper up there. So that way, you know, we'll be there and we'll be in the camper. So when I pack up all of this, I'm not going to be overwhelmed and stressed because this mobile home will be moved then up there. But in order to move it, everything has to be boxed up and moved from the camper. So I'm trying to think ahead, and I'll have my camper well prepared. And I'll put this kit in my description down below. And I believe I ordered this through TEMU. I think is where it came through. And it's a nice set. They are glass bowls and plastic lockdown lids. And everything came really nicely packed. So I am going to go ahead and get everything washed, run it through my dishwasher, and then I'll just take it up to the camper whenever the camper's brought in and set. And then the only other thing I'm doing as far as fermenting is I'm fermenting the honey and garlic. That's smart. I think so. The reason I'm doing please put it in the description. Yes, I'll put it in my description. I'll also put in the kit of the vanilla bottles, the little bottles I use to make the vanilla extract. And I'll also put in the description the vanilla beans, the grade A vanilla organic beans that I ordered. I'll put that in the description. And I'll put this kit in the description as well. And then the only other thing I'm fermenting is the honey garlic. And today is upright was day 1, day 2, day 3. This was day 4 yesterday, so it's upside down. So today is day 5, so I'll be turning it right side up. I'm keeping it in a bowl because it is honey and garlic, and in case it leaks, I want to make sure I have a bowl. And all I have in here is fresh garlic, and I peeled it and I just lightly crushed it so it could release all of that natural nutrients. And then 100% raw, unfiltered garlic, honey. So it's just honey and garlic. And the reason I'm doing this is it's supposed to help you build a natural immune booster. It's supposed to be like a natural immune booster. So if you get a lot of colds, it's supposed to help you get fewer colds. If you do get a cold, it's supposed to help it to not last this long. And it's supposed to help with like inflammation, and I do have inflammation. And it's also supposed to help with sinuses. So you can either do it by teaspoon, take a teaspoon of the honey daily, and that'll help build your immune system. Or you can just cut the garlic up and dice it up on whatever you're eating, or just eat it plain. So this is a natural immune booster. And all I used was fresh garlic, and it was you need at least 8 cloves of fresh garlic. And if it has any green on it, you don't want to use that, or if you have any bad spots, you want to make sure you cut that out. And I just peeled it and I slightly crushed it to help release all those nutrients. And now today is day 5. On day 1, I had started it and it was upright. So day 2, I had, at the end of 24 hours of day 1, all I did was open, and you can hear the air. Hear that air? Because it is fermenting. So I wanted to, you got to open it daily while it's fermenting and just give it some air, let it burp. And then if it's a little sticky, I'll go ahead and just wipe it off. Oh, you can smell that honey and that garlic. It smells so good. So day 1, once I filled it up, I left it upright. Day 2, I burped it on day 2 and turned it upside down. Day 3, I stood it up and I burped it. So each day I'm rotating. So I'm upright because I was upside down. I burped it, and now I'm going to leave it upright. And it takes approximately 60 days for this to ferment. So I just have it on my counter, and I'm just going in and daily burping it, doing my 24-hour rotation, right side up one day, after 24 hours, upside down, and then burp each day. So today, it's right side up. So that's what I'm working with on fermenting. So that's the only fermenting thing I have going on. I did make the loaf of sourdough bread yesterday, and I was showing that on the live stream. And this little kit with the bottles comes with the 8 bottles. It does have labels, so I'm going to be marking my labels. Burping it. Burping it is letting the air out. When you're fermenting, natural gases will build up. So you need to burp it. You need to open the jar and allow that air, that gas, to escape. So it's called burping. So you basically just open the air and let it set for, just a second. Let it get those natural gases out, and then you just put your lid back on. Now, after 60 days, it should be fermented, and you won't need to do that anymore. And you'll notice that the honey starts to lighten, and it's not as thick. It's more of a thinner consistency, and I've already noticed that. Here is the honey that I used, and it is a 100% raw and unfiltered. But I'm already seeing a difference in my color of my honey, and it's not as thick as this honey. It's already the consistency's starting to get thinner, and then you can just take a teaspoon of that after 60 days, and this will last up to a year. And it's a natural immune builder. But you want to make sure that you have raw, fresh garlic, not dehydrated. And you want to make sure that you're using 100% raw and unfiltered honey. And I just got this through Walmart. Oops, I almost put that in the refrigerator. So anyway, I think that's all I have today. And I did talk about what I do with my discard. I don't waste my discard. I just got these little butter molds, and I ordered them online. And each one of these is equal to a stick of butter. So if you're making your homemade butter, this is your butter mold. And I'll discard once my jar gets full. I'll fill up my butter molds and I'll freeze it, and I know that each one of those is a half a cup. So if I want to make discard pancakes or biscuits or whatever I want to make with discard, I'll just go in and get one of my sticks. Once my mold has frozen, I'll take them out of the mold, put them in a Ziploc baggie, and I know that each one of these is equal to a half a cup, just like a stick of butter, because my mold actually has the little lines like your butter would be marked with your 1 tablespoon. So I know that that's exactly 1/2 cup. So I can use it for the thing that I'm making in the kitchen that I would want to use my discard for. And that way I'm feeding my sourdough starter and my discard that I'm taking out to keep this active and fed. I'm putting in my jar and keeping it in the refrigerator until it fills up, and then I'm putting it into my butter molds and I'm freezing it, and then once it's frozen, I'll take it out and put it in Ziploc baggies, and then I'm also using the discard, so I'm not wasting any of this. You will never believe what my husband and I saw in the grocery store. It was honey in a bear jar. But it said imitation honey. Yes, I've never seen that in my life. We couldn't believe it. Actually, now this one is a little bear. But it says 100% honey. Are you talking about one of these little bears? And as you can see, mine is crystallizing, but don't throw your honey away if it crystallizes. A lot of people see the crystallizing and think, oh my goodness, it's my honey has gone bad. If you're going to be making something and your honey's crystallized, just get you a bowl. I'll take like a glass bowl and I'll put some warm water in it, and I'll just set my honey down in it. And that honey will soften back up, and decrystallize. So just because your honey has crystallized does not mean it's not good. Honey, if it's real honey, if it's 100% all natural raw honey, will last forever. They have actually found honey that was in the pyramids thousands and thousands of years old, and it was great. But it said imitation, not, yeah, you have to be careful. There is an imitation honey, and there is 100% honey. Now this one does say 100% honey, and the one I just had out said 100% raw and unfiltered. But be careful, because there is an imitation honey, and I have really bad allergies. So every year I'll go to we have a local little fruit and vegetable stand, and they carry natural honey that is local. So now it works for me. It may not work for you, but I'll go to the stand in the spring or in the summer while they've got their stands, and I'll pick up the natural honey. And it's local, and that's what I'm looking for. This is store-bought, 100% natural. It's not going to help me with my allergies. Now, your local honey is your local bees and what plants that they are going around and using, and they're pollinating and gathering that nectar to make their honey. That honey, because it is local, has probably everything that I have allergies to, and that's causing me to have an allergy attack. If I get that local honey and I take that local honey, it helps me with my allergies, because that's everything local. But it doesn't do me any good if I'm somewhere else and I buy their honey and it's not local to me. So I always look for local honey in my area. Yes, we love local, but if we can't get it, we buy raw. Now, I will buy this for baking, but the actual local raw honey, I like to keep that for myself for my allergies, and I'll just take a teaspoon daily. And right now, I am all kinds of stuffed up. My car is covered in yellow pollen. So, and I just used the last of my local raw honey. So, I definitely am going to be making it down to the little stands and get me some local honey. But I do buy from the store for baking and cooking, and I do keep it in the pantry. But I do also keep the local honey on hand for me myself, or it helps with my allergies. But the main reason that I am making, like I said, I started to make my own vanilla extract, is this was 4 ounces, this little jar. I got this at Walmart, and it was only a couple weeks ago, and I was like, oh my goodness, 4 ounces. The boxes makes it look like you're getting a lot more. This is 8.5. This is 4 ounces. This was almost $20. Almost $5 an ounce. This is 4 ounces. This is 8.5. So I'll be able to save myself in the long run by making my own vanilla extract and not depending on the store. Now, it's going to take me 12 months to get this where I want it, but I already spent the almost $20 for this at Walmart, and that's so smart. We're covered in yellow pollen as well. We buy the 100% at the store because our grandchildren love it. Yes, yes. I could not believe my white car is covered. It's almost yellow. And you could tell it today. I'm still kind of stuffy. But I do have enough vanilla extract that I shouldn't, with a family of 2, even though I do bake and cook. I'm always baking and cooking. I'm hoping this will carry me through for 12 months. And then I can start using my own. It'll give it 12 months for my vanilla extract to completely go through its stages and do its thing. And of course I'm going to keep it in the pantry, and since I just started it, I want it where I can see it, because I just kind of want to maybe go in and just shake it a little bit, just to help it get a nice little start. You know, just for at least the first month or so, and then after that, I think it'll be fine. But, you know, I mean, it's there, so if I see it, I'm going to automatically want to just kind of pick it up and shake it. So that'll give me 12 months for that to get done. And all I did was used bourbon, 40% alcohol, and I used the grade A organic Madagascar vanilla beans, and this was a 50 count. And I ordered this little kit that had the 8 bottles that sealed. They're nice little bottles. It came with 8 more seals, replacement seals. It came with labels, so I'm going to put some labels on there. It came with a little marker to write on my labels. And it came with 2 of the little collapsible funnels. And then it also came with 2 of the little pour spouts. And I'll put that in my description below as well. That's so smart. Okay. That kit is awesome. I'll put this in my description below. I'm thinking, I watched the kit and kept waiting for it to go on sale. They normally run, I think it's around 30 some dollars, maybe $30, $35. But it's 8 bottles, 8 replacement seals, 2 little pour spouts, 2 collapsible funnels, your labels, and your label marker. So I waited for that to go on sale, and they were having a clearance sale, and I got that through Walmart. I looked it up through Walmart, and it's a really nice kit. But if you don't have the kit and the little bottles, this was a salsa jar. You could make your vanilla extract in a salsa jar, or a little jar that you get from the store, or you can use your alcohol bottle. You, of course, would probably want to take some of it out and just put your vanilla beans right in here. And then once it's done, you can either just use it right out of here for your vanilla, or you can put some in a smaller jar after it's done. So you don't have to have the small jars. As long as you've got a sealed jar. This seals, a little jar like this seals. So if you don't have that, you don't have to go and, you know, order the little kits. But I went ahead and got them because I've been watching them, been wanting them, and I waited till they were in my budget, and Walmart is now having, or was having, a clearance sale on these whenever I picked them up. So I saved a lot whenever I picked these up. So anyway, that's all I have today. I think I've covered everything from sourdough starter to sourdough discard, how I freeze my discard and save it in cubes in my butter mold, and put it from the butter mold into Ziploc baggies and just take it out. Each one of these is equal to a half a cup. And that's about what I'm wanting whenever I'm needing my sourdough discard. And we made vanilla extract. And I've been on here almost 2 hours, and I've got a bad foot and leg. So I try to limit how much time I'm up, and I usually try not to stay on any more than an hour to an hour and a half. And then I also make like my own pasta, and I'll just put it in a jar, and I like everything in these glass containers, because when I'm going to the camper, I know nothing's going to get into it, no mice or pests of any kind. So my pantry is going to be pantry stable and ready for me at the camper, and I do this at home as well. I keep things in jars. So I did discuss my pasta, and that I made on one of my live streams, making pasta using the Pasta and Beyond. And Yesterday I was showing the sourdough loaf that my husband just bought me, the new beautiful cast iron Dutch oven. He surprised me with it the day before yesterday. So I made him a fresh loaf of sourdough bread in that yesterday. That was on my live stream yesterday. And then when I was trying the new recipe for the soft loaf, and of course I was watching Jamarelle, so I gave her credit. This is not my recipe. I was watching Jamarelle. So do you order through Walmart and then pick it up from Walmart? I just ordered that. I ordered these through Walmart and they were delivered FedEx. And I think it was only maybe 2 or 3 days they came through FedEx. So a lot of the things I do get from Walmart, I'll just get on the app and order them and they'll either come FedEx. Usually Walmart sends FedEx. Yeah. The TEMU, it came through my mailman yesterday. My mailman dropped that off yesterday, actually, when I was on the live stream showing the new loaf of bread that I made, or the loaf of bread I made in the new Dutch oven that hubby surprised me with. And it was delivered yesterday by my mailman, U.S. mail. So, but Walmart app is where I ordered it from. Thank you. I had an awesome time watching you make homemade vanilla extract. Oh, well, thank you so much. Thank you, Football Mama. Thank you. Well, I'm going to hop off of here. I'm tired. I know that my coffee's cold. It's always cold by the time I get offline. I need to warm up my coffee. And I'm going to go ahead and get my kit that I just ordered, my shorts. I'm going to get those ran through the dishwasher, and then I can get them packed up. And I have one of my babies here telling me, Mama, it's time for you to hop off of here and pay attention to me. Right, Ryder? You need attention. So anyway, I'm going to hop off of here and give the baby some attention, and you all have an absolutely wonderful, wonderful afternoon. And as I always say, don't be afraid to try new things. Come in your kitchen, try new things, learn new things, and, share it with your family and with your friends, and just, pass it on to the next generation. It's skills that you can learn and you can pass on. So, baby's getting very restless. Very restless. And I think baby 2's coming through. Yep, here comes baby 2. Where you at, Miss Lily? Lily, where you at, baby girl? Where'd you go? Yep, there's the other one. Come here, Lily. Come here, baby girl. What are you doing, baby girl? And this is Ryder, and this is Miss Lily. These are my babies. You want to You want to trade? Ups, and then here comes Mr. Kitty. So all of them are coming in. They're saying, Mama, that's enough. It's time for you. Kitty, kitty. Come here, buddy. Come here, buddy. Come here, buddy. Oh, my goodness. And these are my babies. And they're telling me, Mama, it's time for you to hop off of there. And give us a little bit of attention. How about it? So I'm going to hop off of here. You all have an absolutely wonderful day. Enjoy your afternoon. Enjoy your kitchen. And go in your kitchen and have fun. It's fun to go in and try new things and learn new things. So next time, bye-bye. And we'll see you on the next one. And we will find something to get into. I'm always doing something. So who knows what I'm going to be doing next. So bye-bye, everyone. You enjoy your day. Enjoy your kitchen. And I'll catch you the next time. Bye-bye. I know.